Hi everyone, I'm Goldie Chan from Warm Robots, and I'll be answering some amazing questions over video with SmartBrief. So let's get into it. Now, I think this is so hilarious, so I actually just did a first take of this question, and I had to do a second take because during the first take, a ton of police cars and also a lot of other noise was happening in the background. Now that we are creating content primarily from home, I am currently in a portion of my home office. It is so important that when you are creating content, not live content, but recorded content, if audio isn't perfect, take a break. Wait till a time when it's quieter and you can create the kind of content that has clean audio. So that's just a technical suggestion. But in terms of thinking about creating content during the quarantine as a brand, think as far as you can outside the box. Tap people who are already friends and fans of your brand and try to get them to get on the platform, whatever social media platforms you're active on, and interview them, have them do a tutorial, have them do a demo. Make sure that they are engaged and you're sharing that content publicly. So there is so much to personal branding, obviously outside of doing really great, amazing, memorable content, which is one of my favorite ways to build a personal brand. But outside of that, there is networking. Making sure that people are aware of your personal brand by being out there, speaking on panels, attending or speaking at webinars, making sure that you are present in conversations and situations. Now, in terms of specific LinkedIn recommendations, I'd suggest that you once again go about thinking on how you can build your network effectively. This will help infinitely with personal branding outside of content creation. So make sure that you add people that you say went to school with, that were at your previous jobs or roles. Make sure that you are adding people to your network every single week. I'll give you a piece of homework. Add at least 5 new people to your network every single week. Well, I love this question because not everyone has the luxury of creating a personal brand separately than creating their business. Some of us are just meant to shine a little bit more. So how can we think about doing both at the same time? First of all, I think it's important to have separate presences for each. So for example, on LinkedIn, I have not only my company brand page, so clients can tag Warm Robots, but I also have, of course, my personal page, so people can tag Goldie Chan. Now, this is the double whammy. When people want to tag both, say on Twitter or LinkedIn or any other platform, we'll use Twitter as an example now, in a tweet, they can say, Goldie Chan of @Warm Robots is now working on this new project with us. And so not only do you get that amazing boost for your personal brand, but also your agency or your brand also gets an extra second boost. So create really defined, well built out, separate presences for both. And make sure that, of course, your copy and your ethos for both are at least slightly different, because if you exactly cut and paste images, if you exactly cut and paste the wording, then there's no reason why someone would tag that as opposed to you. Oh my goodness, I think motivation is such a tough concept right now, especially right now as we're going through so many changes globally. To me, I like to always tell people I don't have a plan B. So not having a plan B means that I try to stick with plan A about 99.999% of the time. So if my agency is going to release a project, like say we just did an amazing one with Pinterest called Courageous Conversations, if we are releasing a project, there's not really a plan B for not doing that project. We're going to get it out there and it's going to be amazing. And quite honestly, just like everything in life, if it's not absolutely the top tier, most amazing project, it's at least out there. I think a lot about a few folks I met on another project that I was interviewing them on. It was a series of chefs who were coming from the Navy and they were doing a boot camp on a cooking class, and we were helping interview them for this school. And one of the things is when they are cooking for their cohort, it doesn't matter at the end of the day if the product is perfect. They just have to get it out there. And that's how I think about consistency, making sure you just get your content out there. And the crazy thing is, over time, all of your content, and of course in the case of those amazing chefs, all of your food will slowly improve over time. Simply because you get into the practice of every day, you get a little bit better. So consistency to me is a stubbornness of belief and not having a plan B. So I love to talk about this. The main ethos behind Warm Robots is evolving brands storytelling. We want to always make sure that the brands and companies that we work with, we're helping them to get to the next level with how they tell their story, both externally and of course when we do HR related projects, internally. And what makes Warm Robots really different? Well, part of that is they are led by me, my amazing team. I heart them to pieces. But one of my key personal beliefs is telling stories that have meaning. So really thinking about diversity, thinking about culture, coming from a culture of listening, and thinking about analytics and AI and how all of these elements can be built in to make the perfect story that helps your customers come back for more. And the last part of this question is, of course, marketing agencies are moving in-house. So for example, I won't name them, but a big Fortune 500 company that I just talked to, they have built from scratch over the last few years a really strong, robust in-house marketing agency. And we at Warm Robots love to partner with those amazing in-house agencies to help them think strategically, because just like in life, sometimes it's incredibly helpful to have an outside point of view, because that outside point of view will help clarify overall strategies in a way that if you're in the weeds, if you're thinking too closely about the details, if you've lived in that atmosphere for so long, it's sometimes hard to have that kind of clarity. So that's what we do a lot, is we actually work with a lot of in-house teams to help them really think through strategy clearly. This is a tough question. So when I sit down with brands and we think about things from the very beginning, the very bottom of who they are and what their purpose is, I think sometimes it's helpful to think also from the outside. Who is your target demographic? Who are those key types of people, those key segments that you're attempting to target? And then to craft a brand purpose that makes sense through every single one of those key demographics. For example, if you were a meditation app, it would make sense to think through how can you help each of these different demographics remain calm during the day or remain relaxed. If you're a wonderful B2B company working in the electronic field, maybe one of your goals is to make sure that people understand IoT better. So understanding what your purpose can come from understanding your audience demographic better. I've been asked this by quite a few of my clients and also, of course, prospective clients. This is a very tough time. In fact, I just gave a keynote on weathering the storm for brands. So the first thing to do, of course, is to listen. You always want to be listening to what other people are saying. It's incredibly important to be able to learn during this time. The next thing that I like to say about this subject is keeping a sense of calm, because calm and confidence, especially as a leader, especially as a leading brand during this time, will only help you look incredibly professional. And finally, the third piece of advice is to open it up to your network. So what do I mean by that? I mean, open up the question to your network, once again, encouraging yourself to listen, encouraging yourself to learn, but also making sure that you are growing your network constantly. Thanks everyone for listening to these hopefully very helpful questions and answers with myself and SmartBrief. If you have any other questions, do not hesitate to send me an email at hello@warmrobots.com. Talk to you all soon.